Okay, good evening, my dear future child accountants. Okay, moving on. In days 116, we are doing leases. That is what is in days 116. And we did one problem on lease remeasurement of liability. And that will occur in circumstance changes, and whenever those things occurs, we reassess the liability and we adjust it in the asset as well as liability. That was the discussion. Now we'll go for one similar treatment but slightly different, that is called as lease modification. So what do you mean by lease modification? There is a change in scope of lease or change in consideration of lease that was not part of original lease. Examples: leasing an additional space. Earlier you thought you are going to take one floor, now later you revised it for 2 floors. That is change in scope. Surrendering part of the underlying asset. Earlier you thought you would occupy the one full floor, now you will occupy only half of the floors. That is increase in the scope or decrease in the scope, more area or less area. Change in consideration, that is earlier you thought it is 1 lakh per month, now later you decided okay it will be 1,50,000 per month, or reduced 95,000 per month. That is change in consideration is also lease modification, not because of variable lease payments. You thought it would be 1 lakh per month for 10-year period, and after 6 years some renegotiation started and revised. Okay, 1 lakh is not right, we'll make it as 1,05,000. Some sort of change in lease consideration. And so these are not lease modification, rather these are reassessment of liabilities, which are exercise of purchase option or renewal option, because these things we have seen yesterday in reassessment of liabilities. Earlier you thought you would not exercise, later you think you will exercise. So those things are remeasurement of liabilities, not lease modifications. Change in assessment of option to exercise. Again, earlier your intention was different, now your intention is changed. Your option to exercise of purchase of the option is different. First point is regarding the renewal part, that is you extend the term or not. The second point is regarding whether you will purchase the asset or not. Either ways, whether you extend, you terminate, you decide you will purchase, or you decide against that you will purchase, all are same. But those things are not lease modification, but they are lease to be reassessed, which we discussed in the previous session. Accounting are to be done as a separate lease. Separate lease means you take it independently, you don't touch this. You account that as if as a separate lease and separate accounting. Separate lease measurement liability, separate ROU asset. That is actually very simple. No recalculations. Whatever you enter into, you account it as a separate lease agreement. You don't touch the existing liability, don't touch the existing asset. That is very easy, but that has to satisfy certain condition, that it should increase the scope and the consideration should commensurate with standalone selling price. For example, you are having earlier agreement of first floor and consideration was 1 lakh. Now you went for one more second floor, increase in scope, additional space, and the consideration is only 30,000. This is not increase in commensurate standard selling price, assuming the size of first floor, second floor are same. Because when first floor is 1 lakh, second floor should be around that. Then only it is fair in valuation. So therefore, this is not to be accounted as separate lease. Rather, if it is around, let's say 1,10,000 or 1 lakh itself, then that is a separate lease, accounted separately. First floor accounting separately, second floor accounting separately. So if you want to account it as separate lease, then you should make sure that it is increase in scope as well as the increased consideration should commensurate with standalone selling price. Basically means that increased value should be fair for you to account it separately. So in other case it's not separate lease, that is it is decrease in scope, or it is other situation like the consideration is not commensurate with standalone selling price. That is, when you don't account as a separate lease, you remeasure the liability and you reduce the ROU. That is because the asset is now scope reduced from one floor to you reduce it to half floor. So your liability will reduce by half, your asset also will reduce by half. The difference between those two will transfer it to P&L account. So when there is a decrease in scope, we reduce the asset, we reduce the liability, and difference is taken to P&L account. In all other cases, you account just like modification, that means reassessment. Reassessment means any changes will be adjusted in liability as well as in ROU asset. Just to quickly summarize this part, what we have discussed, what are possibilities are there in lease modification. Either there is change in consideration, that is 1 lakh becoming 95 or 1 lakh 5,000, that you treat just like reassessment. Adjust liability, adjust asset on revised values. Change in lease term can be two possibilities. Either it will increase or it will decrease. If it is increasing, then you are remeasuring the liability and adjusting the ROE of the asset, that is you are accounting it as a separate lease if possible. Otherwise you do the same calculation. If it is decreasing, then what we just discussed, liability will reduce, asset also will reduce, and difference will be transferred to P&L account. This is the only case that happens, that you reduce the liability, you reduce the asset, because the scope is getting reduced. In all other cases, you will account it as adjustment or account it as separate lease. The only situation where the P&L account is affected is when there is decrease in scope. Only in that situation P&L is affected. In other situation it is not affected. Decrease in the lease term or even the scope part. Again, increase, if it is standalone selling price commensurate, you account it as a new lease. If it is not standalone selling price, then you remeasure and adjust liability like reassessment of liability. Decrease in scope, again the way we adjust it, we remeasure the liability asset, and any adjustment we are going to consider it like reassessment of liabilities. If it is decrease in scope, adjustment of assets and liabilities will happen proportionately. I think when we take up the numbers, these things will be more clear. So we'll go for problems. Question number 28. Lessee enters into 10-year lease 5,000 square meters of office space. The annual lease payments are 1 lakh payable at the end of each year. The interest rate implicit in the lease cannot be determined. Lessee's incremental borrowing rate commencement rate is 6%. Basically it is a discounting rate. At the beginning of year 7, okay, in this problem I think there is no confusion. Amount is payable at the end of each year. So we don't have that confusion of beginning and values and all. Simple, straightforward, 1 lakh per annum. At the beginning of year 7, lessee and lessor agreed to amend the original lease by extending the contract lease term by 4 years. The annual lease payments unchanged, 1 lakh payable at the end of year 7 to 14, because 10 became 14 now, 4 year more. Lessee's incremental borrowing rate at the beginning of the year 77%. How should the modification accounted for? So which is the applicable situation here? In this case, it is change in lease term, and it is a situation of increase in lease term. Increase in lease term means you account it just like remeasurement. You remeasure the liability and amount will be adjusted against ROU asset as well as liabilities. So that is similar to the previous discussion what we had. Let us try to calculate. Okay, first let us calculate what would be your original lease liability and original ROE of the assets. Original lease liability. Since it is every year is same, we'll go for annuity factor method. Every year amount is same. It is year 1 to 10 lease payments are 1 lakh and discounting factor at the rate of, what was the original discounting rate at the beginning? 6%. So compute the annuity factor. You can take 3 decimals. How much you get? 7.36. Therefore 7,36,000. Again, remember, if you do it for yearly basis, one by one, overall some small changes will be there. So when you compare the institute solution, some difference could come because of the rounding off issues. We are doing it directly so that we can calculate faster. So original lease liability is 7,36,000 and no other changes. You can say it is original lease liability and ROU assets, because there is no initial direct cost, lease incentive, lease prepayments, no such adjustments. So this itself pure liability and asset. Okay, so original lease liability is done. Now we need the lease liability as on, what is the, when the modification is taking place? Beginning of 7th year. So lease liability you can compute in 2 ways. One, you can start with 7,36,000, then plus interest minus lease payment, plus interest minus lease payment. You can keep on compute like that, or you can do for the remaining 4 years. For remaining 4 years, that way also we can measure it. Let us do the same approach. Remaining 4 years, let us take, that is year 1 to 4. Lease liability at the beginning of 7th year for remaining 4 years. That present value will be same number, 1 lakh. What is the discounting factor for 4 years? No, 7% later. We are not remeasuring. I'm just doing alternative method. If that is a confusion, we'll start from beginning only. Year, beginning, plus interest, minus principal. So we are not measuring here. We are computing the book value. Just using as a shortcut here. A discounting factor at 6% for 4 years. 3.465. So 3,46,500. 3,46,500. This is the value, and quickly verify whether approximately number comes. That is 7,36,000 plus 6% minus 1 lakh. Repeat this 6 times. Plus 6% minus 1 lakh, plus 6% minus 1 lakh, plus 6% minus 1 lakh, plus 6% minus 1 lakh. Six years you should do it 6 times. Approximately it should be around this number, 3,46,000. Yeah, some approximately number should come. That is the actual way of getting it. We are using a shortcut method. That is the actual way of getting the balance. Anyway, this we had done in the financial instrument chapter also. Similar approach we had taken. Okay, this is lease liability at the beginning of 7th year, and we are now going to remeasure lease modification because of change in lease payments. So you do lease liability revised with new term. Is the lease payment change or not change in lease payment? Change in lease term, sorry, yeah, change in lease term. So lease liability revised with new term as well as new discounting rates. Again, we don't have to compute for every year separately. We can just go for this annuity factor method. That is year. How many years we are going to take? They only have given remaining 4 years in the current term, and the new term is 4 years. So 4 plus 4, 8 years. Year 1 to 8. And discounting factor, what is the new rate of discounting factor? 7%. So lease payment is same, 1 lakh. And to be more specific, you can say it's actually year 7 to 14 for your reference. But I choose not to write 7 to 14 because then you take the discounting factor of 7th year and all. So we'll take year 1 to 8 from that point onwards. So discounting factor at 7% for 8 years. 5.971. So 5,97,100. So 3,46,000 was the book value. 3,46,500 was the book value, but revised to 5,97,100. So liability to be revised and corresponding changes will make it in the assets. So changes to lease liability and ROU assets, that is difference between 5,97,100 minus 3,46,500. $2,50,600. That's all is this one. Changes in lease term. Increase. If it is decrease, answer is slightly different. Because asset also already recognized, but now we have to readjust it. I hope you understand the difference between increase and decrease, not just opposites. When you're increasing the term, you're increasing the liability, increasing the asset. That seems fine. But you're decreasing it means you're already recognizing, but that should be taken out. So asset also should be reduced, liability also should be reduced. Therefore, difference between those two will go to P&L account. So decrease in lease term and decrease in scope, you have to treat like that. And in the coming problem, we'll see such things. This is 28. We'll move further. 29th. Lessee enters into 10-year lease for 5,000 square meters of office space. Annual lease payments are 50,000 payable at the end of each year. Interest rate implicit in the lease cannot be readily determined. Lessee's incremental borrowing rate at the commencement date is 6%. At the beginning of year 6, that means 5 years over. Lessee and lessor agree to amend the original lease to reduce the space to only 2,500 square meters of original space starting from the end of first quarter of year 6. Annual lease payments are 30,000. The lessee's incremental borrowing rate at the beginning of year 6 5%. How should the modification be accounted for? So this is a case of decrease in scope, decrease in the area occupied. So after 5th year, you are having some amount of liability, some amount of assets, thinking that it is there for certain space. Now that is being reduced means liability also should be reduced, asset also should be reduced on that date. Then you go for revised new amounts. So we'll account it as remeasurement separately. So basically this solution will be solved in 2 steps. First step, on the existing carrying amount proportionately you reduce for the change in scope, decrease in scope. Later, because there is remeasurement, see 50,000 was the lease payment, and how much is reduced? 5,000 square feet became 2,500 square feet, that is half. So what should have happened to lease liability? 50 should have become 25,000, but it is 30,000. So there is a lease liability which need to be remeasured, but that will take up in the second step. The first step is to account for reduction of 5,000 square feet to 2,500 square feet. Then we'll account for the changes in the lease rental. Lease rental change is the second step. This is the first step. Let us solve that in the stepwise manner. Okay, but before accounting for that, let us go for the original lease liability and assets. What was the beginning value? So same, every year amount is same, so we'll do annuity factor methods. Year 1 to 10, how many years? 10 years? Okay, year 1 to 10. Lease payments 50,000, and discounting factor at the rate of 6%, and discounted cash flow. So compute the annuity factor 6%. $7.36. So 50,000 into 7.36, 3,68,000. 3,68,000. This is the original lease liability as well as ROU asset. No other adjustment for initial direct cost, lease incentive, and pre-lease payments. Okay, let us compute on what is the date on which the modification happening? Beginning of year 6. On beginning of year 6. What is the carrying amount of lease liability? Again, we can compute from beginning value plus this number and all, but let us go for just a shortcut method, that is same year. How many remaining years are there? 5 years. So lease payments, discounting factor at 6%. We are computing the original rate of interest only. It's only for, it's a shortcut we are doing. Ideally it should be the full tabular method, amortization cost method. And cash flow 50,000. So what is the annuity factor? 4.212 into 50,000, 2,10,600. 2,10,600. Actually, if you calculate it, some difference would have come. But that's the mathematical round off, it's fine. Okay, that is carrying amount of lease liability. What is the carrying amount of ROU? This also you can compute in two methods. From the beginning value, you subtract the depreciation, or remaining depreciation also you can add it up. You have not done that in your life, I think, that kind of calculation, but that's what ultimately means. So what is the meaning of carrying value of the asset? That is the amount to be depreciated plus residual value if it does not depreciate. So you can also compute the carrying amount of the asset as future depreciation plus residual value. That will also be equal to carrying amount, but let's keep it very simple. 3,68,000 was the original amount minus depreciation for 5 years. That is 3,68,000, no residual value and all, divided by 10, multiplied by 5. Uh, 1,57,000 something. One lakh 18,000, 84,000. So remaining also same number should come, because remaining depreciation should be same number. Okay, these are all the existing amounts. So revision takes place at two levels that we have to carry out. First step is to account for modification from 5,000 square feet to 2,500 square feet. Therefore, your liabilities should be reduced by 50%, half, and asset also will reduce by half, whatever the asset which is actually reduced. Therefore, applying reduction in scope, that is 5,000 square feet to 2,500 square feet, that is basically 50%. That will take up in the second step. First you account for the existing situation, what is happening. Then you reassess the new liability. One thing at a time. So reduction in the scope. So liability will reduce by 2,10,600 into 50%. How much that is? 1,05,300, and ROU assets will reduce by 1,84,000 into 50%. 92,000. So liability reduced by 1,05,300, ROU asset reducing by 92,000. So you will have net gain or net profit. Your liability is reducing at a faster pace, that is at a higher amount, 1,05,000. Asset is only 92. So liability reduces means it is actually a good thing, therefore it's a profits. Liability reduced is profits. Therefore net gain recognized in P&L, to be recognized in P&L, difference. How much you get? Some 13,000 something, 14,000, 13,300. Okay, so this is first step, accounting for reduction in scope. Now we'll go for remeasurement of liability. No, ROE asset would be zero, depreciated fully. ROE lease liability would be zero, because we have to make sure that liability is zero. So balancing figure small number, we adjust it in interest. So ultimately both asset and liability will become zero. Both will be zero only, because we would have depreciated fully. Some amount would be there in situation where there is some residual value guaranteed, that you would pay some amount. So only that amount will be there. Apart from that, both assets and liabilities will be reduced to zero. Okay, let us remeasure the liability. Remeasurement of liability with new lease payment and new discounting rate. That is step 2. Again we'll use the same format. Year lease payments, discounting factor at the rate of, what is the new rate? 5%. Discounted cash flow. Year, remaining years, 5 years only. Lease payments are 30,000, discounting factor at 5%. $4.329 into 30,000 will give you approximately 1,29,870. Okay, that is the revised liability. What is the existing liability? Existing liabilities, $1,05,300, because from 2,10,600 we subtract 105,300, we reduced, same amount will come, that is 105,300. Therefore remeasurement adjustment, that is lease liability and ROU assets change or increase. How much you get? 20,000 something, 24,570. So first step is to reduce the scope and then to remeasure for the new lease, for new lease payment. Okay, next 30. Lease, lessee enters into 10-year lease for 5,000 square, same question, meters of office space at the beginning of year 6. Lessee and lessor agreed to amend the lease for the remaining 5 years. Is it repeated question? To reduce the lease payment from 1 lakh to 95,000 per year. Reduction of lease. The interest rate implicit is not determined. Less incremental borrowing rate 6, less increment borrowing at the end of 6%, annual lease payment at the beginning of each year. How should the modification be accounted for? Okay, this is a situation of only one small thing, that is change in or decrease in lease rental, and change in lease rental is accounted just like modification. That is, I mean, any other thing what we did in remeasurement, original amount, revised amount, and then you are going to adjust it in the ROU as well as liability. There is no other calculation as such, but we'll still do it quickly. First, original lease liability, same format will follow. And no other adjustments, so we can say ROU asset also. Year 1 to 10, lease payment 1 lakh. Then discounting factor we already calculate also. Same number only, no? Question number 28. 7.36. So that number only we can make use of. 7,36,000. And here it is revised at the end of beginning of year 6. Okay, that is changed. That was year 7, I think. Okay, we can't use as it is. So we had to change slightly. Okay, then we'll recalculate. At the beginning of year 6, carrying amount of lease liability. Here again you can do from amortization cost method, that's slightly longer method. We'll go for this regular method. Here lease payments discounting factor at 6%, that is because we are doing carrying amounts. Year 1 to remaining years are 5 years. Lease payments are how much? 1 lakh. We are calculating existing amounts. And discounting factor 6% for 5 years. 4.212. So 4,21,200. So carrying amount of lease liability is done. So we are going to do revised amount of lease liability. Same year lease payments. Discounting factor will be at, if it is changed, we'll take a new rate. Has it changed? 7%. And discounted cash flow, year 1 to 5, 95,000 at 7%. Think you get 4.1 or something. And into 95,000 means 3 lakh something, 3,89,500. Therefore difference to be adjusted in lease liability and ROU asset. Difference between 4,21,200 and 3,89,500. Actually, original amount was not required, I think. So because when you use that shortcut method, original amount is not required. But anyway, sometimes institute checks that as a step or something, so we have arrived at that is essential for marks purpose. So difference amount is 30,000 some 31,700. So this modification is also done. That has to be, no? Not only in question, in reality only we should know it. If you are changing the scope, what is the scope? Because at the beginning only we said when you say lease, it has to have a identified asset, either in terms of the asset or in terms of capacity in some form. But the asset has to be defined. It has to be physically distinct. So it has to be there. Even when you change the scope also, it has to be clear. Okay, next, 31. Lessee enters into 10-year lease for 2,000 square feet meters of office space. The annual lease payments are 1 lakh payable at the end of each year. Interest rate implicit in the lease cannot be readily determined. Lessee's incremental borrowing rate at the commencement rate 6%. At the beginning of year 6, lessee and lessor agree to amend the original lease to include additional 1,500 square meters of space in the same building from the beginning of year 6 end. Okay, year 6 end. Okay. So this is an increase in scope. Increase in scope. So increase in scope means what you should do is, if it was if the lease rentals are commensurate with the standalone selling price, then this point you don't adjust at all. You take it as a separate lease. Increase in scope and the increased number commensurate with the selling price, you account it separately. That means no remeasurement, revaluation, such things don't apply. You just take it fresh. Problem over actually in that case. So obviously they will not ask that. And reduce the lease term from 10 years to 8 years. Reduction of lease term. In a way reduction of scope, but reduction of lease term. Annual fixed payment for 3,500 square meter is 1,50,000 payable at the end of each year. That is from year 6 to year 8, revised term. Please observe the numbers. 2 lakh square feet, amount was 1 lakh. Now you go for additional 1,500 square feet and the amount is 1,50,000. That means it's extra 50,000 for 1,500 square feet. The amount extra you are getting is paying is 50,000, but the occupation is 1,500. It's almost equal. So it looks like the amount is not in line with the fair value. It appears to be, but we'll read it. Lessee's incremental borrowing rate at the beginning of year 6, 7%. The consideration for the scope in the increase in the scope of 1,500 square feet of 1,500 square meters of space is not commensurate with standalone selling price. Even if they don't tell, we have identified already. Because incremental 50,000 lease payment, but incremental benefit of 1,500 square feet. So it is not really matching in that sense, which is they are also accepting it. For the increase, adjusted to reflect the circumstance of the contract. Consequently, lessee does not account for the increase in the scope that adds the right to use additional 1,500 square meters of space as separate lease. How should the said modification be accounted for? Okay. So what you should do here is, first you should account for the existing amount changes. What is the changes in the existing amount means? At the beginning, you will account for 10-year lease payments. But because of this, it is reduced to 8 years. You should account for that first. already recognized should be reduced. Liability will be reduced, asset will be reduced. Liability and asset, in case of the decrease in scope, that 5,000 square feet to 2,500 square feet, asset and liability we took 50%, 50% each, because that scope was very easy to identify. But this is not so easy, because liability related to remaining years payments, asset related to remaining years amount should be reduced. But concept is same. Already recognized value, liability should be reduced, asset should be reduced, difference should be taken to P&L account, decrease in lease term. And the second point what is happening is, for that existing amount only, after reduction also, there is a change of discounting rate from 6% to 7%. That is the second step you account for it. And the third step what you account is this lease payments what you are having, that incremental 50,000 extra what you are having, you have to account it for a additional asset, additional liability, because that is the space which got added, which needs to be increased in your asset and which needs to be increased in your liability. So those are the things we are going to do, but first we'll compute the existing amounts. Original lease liability, and because no other changes, we can say ROU asset also. Whatever you accounted first, you should always reverse that first. You have already recognized for 10 years. If that is getting reduced, account for that first. Accounting earlier, reversing is the first issue. Then even after reversing it, that liability what you show does not represent the full amount as on that date, because rate of interest is changed. That is second. Then you go for the new lease what you accounted for. It is in logical sequence. First, whatever you recognize, you revise it. You revise it for the amount already recognized. You reverse it, not you revise, you reverse whatever amount which getting reduced. Then after getting reduced, you see whether that is fair enough or not. And because of interest rate, that value of liability is not correct, to be remeasured. And then you go for the new lease, increase the asset and increase the liability separately. Both of them will get adjusted. Okay. But before you do all those things, first you have to know what are those amounts. I hope that you are clear, but that should be done first. I think we have calculated this amount already. Same amount, 1 lakh for 10 years. I think we got some 7.36, 7 lakh 36,000 is already done. That is the amount. And was it the recalculation at the beginning of 6th year only? In the earlier problem where we took this 7 lakh 36,000. Is it the same time? At the beginning of year 6. So we can reuse that number also. And oh, but the amount of lease payment was different. Oh, is it same? Okay, we can't. Let us reuse it. Let us recalculate. It will not take much time. The exam, that alternative option will not be there. Let us recalculate. At the beginning of year 6, I think this event is happening. Okay. Carrying amount of original lease liability. Year lease payments, discounting factor at 6%, discounted cash flow. Year, how many years are over, or remaining years? 5 years is over, remaining is also 5 years then. 1 lakh. What is the discounting factor at 6% for 5 years? 4.212. 4 lakh 21 200. Okay, what is the carrying amount of ROU assets? Again on same date. Original amount 7 lakh 36,000 reduced by depreciation 7 lakh 36,000 divided by 10 into 5. 3 lakh 68,000. So WDV or closing balance, same amount 3,68,000. Okay, these are the amounts which are there as on beginning of year 6 before any changes to be accounted. Okay. So what we need to do first thing now is to account for the reduction which is happening. Reduction happening with respect to lease term. If you understand. Okay, let us do the easier one first. If you talk about assets, what was the amount of assets? 3,68,000, and this is supposed to be used over 5 years, supposed to be depreciated over 5 years. But now you are reducing this for remaining 3 years. So what should be the carrying amount? It should not be, this was supposed to be for 5 years. How much for 3 years? That should be your revised carrying amount representing the 3-year term, representing the remaining 3-year term. Let's compute this only. So WDV representing remaining 3-year term. That is 3,68,000 into 3 by 5. It's so easy to do it here because we follow straight line method of depreciation. If it's WDV method, answer is different, but I don't think they'll ask you such things. Depreciation every year equal, so just remaining years you can do it easily. That is 2,20,800. But liability, what we have, what is the existing liability now? 4,21,200. That part I cannot do into 3 by 5 kind of thing, because that amount of 4,21,200 is not repaid equally. If installment were repaid with equal installment, equal principal amount, then I can take it, whatever the remaining principal to be repaid. But you know, on every installment, total installment remains same, but principal interest will keep on fluctuating. So out of this 4,21,200, how much is related to 3-year liability only? The remaining becomes whatever the amount to be reduced. Therefore, lease liability representing 3-year liability. Again, let me just follow same thing. Year lease payments, discounting factor at original rate 6% discounted cash flow. Year 1 to 5, how much lease payment will take? 1 lakh. But discounting factor you take only for not 5 years, 3 years. Remaining 3 years, what would be the liability? Present value of cash flows of remaining 3 amounts. How much you get? 2.673. So 2 lakh 67 300. Therefore, carrying amount of ROU assets should reduce by, what is the existing carrying amount of ROU of the asset? Existing amount 3,68,000. It should reduce by, okay, it's already reduced. Huh? So it should be remaining 2,20,800. Therefore, what should be the reduction impact? It is 3,68,000, but it should be 2,20,000. The difference represents reduction. How much? 1,47,200. And carrying amount of lease liability should reduce by existing carrying amount is 4,21,200 minus it should be 2,67,300. So what is the difference? 1,53,900. Therefore, difference to be recognized in P&L, difference is gain or loss. Liability is reducing or asset is reducing, which is more in reduction? Liability, so it's a gain. Gain to be recognized in P&L. $6,000 something. $6,700 exactly. Okay, so first step of reduction from 10-year liability to 8-year liability is completed. So if nothing else happens, you can redo this, depreciate over remaining 3 years and amortize this interest cost under the amortization method on liability over 3 years. Both will become zero after 8 years at this point in time. Okay, now we'll go for change in your lease liability, because discounting factor now is 7%. So this 1 lakh, I mean, what is the existing amount of liability now after this change? 2,67,300. This will be the revised liability after reduction by 1,53,000 something. This amount now need to be revised. before you go for the new lease term. First account for the existing lease term revision, then you go for new lease term. Okay, remeasurement of remaining liability. Okay. So here lease payments, discounting factor at 7%, discounted cash flow. We'll take only 3 years now. Lease payments are 1 lakh, discounting factor at 7%. And that is 2.624, therefore 2,62,400. What is the existing lease liability? 2,67,300. Therefore, difference to be adjusted in liability and ROU assets. Why should you pay 1,50,000? Why should I pay 1,50,000? I agree, but I'm asking you a simple question. It was 1 lakh. What is the purpose of 1 lakh becoming 1,50,000? Increase in lease will account separately. We are not accounting for that now. What we are accounting is only remeasurement of existing liability. That increase in scope will come to it separately. Okay, so difference to be adjusted in lease liability as well as or you as a differential amount, that is 4,900. Okay, so now we'll come to the recognition of lease in increased space. Okay, here lease payments, discounting factor at the new rate 7%. Discounted cash flow year 1 to 3. Amount is what is the incremental amount? 1 lakh we already accounted now. What we take consider is 50,000. And discounting factor, same number I think. 2.624. Discounted cash flow is 1,31,200. Is exactly half because amount is also half. That's it. So recognize lease liability and ROU assets 1,31,200. Just for your information, that is, had you considered here itself 1,50,000, then this number would have been including this number, that is would have been 3 lakh something would be there. Same effect would have been there, but this breakup would not be there. How much because of existing lease liability remeasurement and how much is because of new space. That accounting would not be available. That's why we are doing it separately. Otherwise, mathematically, it would be same only. Okay, so after all these things, what is the revised amounts at the beginning of year 6 for both this lease liability and ROU assets? Lease liability 2,61,300 was the revised amount, plus we have to recognize 1,31,200, and that becomes 3 lakh 92 something, 98. 3 lakh 90, 98,500. Okay, so not existing liability, revised liability, 2,62,400. I'm sorry, 2,62,400. Revised liability plus this new liability, 3 lakh 93,600. Okay, and ROU assets, we have recognized the amount. Carrying amount should be 2,20,800, I believe. $2,20,800, and we have to adjust by this 4,900. Will you subtract or will you add? From 2,67,300, it has to come down to 2,62,400. So minus 4,900 and plus 1,31,200. That is 3,47,100. Okay, let's go to the last one small part on the lessee accounting, that is presentation. Again, it's straightforward. This is the thing what we discussed so far only, but we're discussing in one place. In the balance sheet, you were representing asset as well as liabilities, or you asset as well as lease liabilities, and you have to show under respective heads current and non-current. We have discussed that in the previous sessions. ROU assets, you can show either separately from assets or together with other assets. That is, you can show in non-current assets, you say office equipments, below that you will have two categories. That is owned assets, leased assets. That thing you can show, or you can show separately, you can show together total office equipments. In the notes to accounts, you can give a disclosure. Out of the above office equipment, so much is not owned but leased assets. And sometimes it can be investment property also. If you let it for lease purpose or capital appreciation purpose, it's not that every asset you take it on lease should be used. It can be investment property. So valuation of this asset will now be under, ROU asset will now be under investment property. Ind AS 40 will apply when you're holding the asset for capital appreciation purpose but not for using the assets for your business. Same lease liabilities can be separately shown from others, or you can show together with other liabilities with a proper disclosure. In the P&L account, you have to show depreciation and interest separately. You can't club it. Depreciation is on asset, interest is on liabilities. And whenever remeasurement takes place, modification takes place, that adjustment also will come in P&L. Not remeasurement, basically when modification takes place. And in the cash flows, principal portion of lease liability will come in cash flow statement, financing liabilities. Lease liability, what is paid also, that is liability change, interest paid will come in financing liabilities. And the short-term leases and low-value items need not be separated. This interest component, principal component will not come. So short-term leases and lease value items will come in operating activities. They will not come in financing activities. And variable lease payments, because it will be known only at that point in time, for which liability and all was not recognized earlier. So that will also be part of operating activities because the liability loan amount was not there earlier. Just a presentation part, not really make any difference. Okay, so now we'll come to lesser accounting. So last 3 days we spent time only on lessee accounting. So 3 more days will be required for lesser accounting. Not required. Lesser accounting is what you know already. So we'll not be discussing in too much in detail, but we'll do quick problems. That is regular methods. You have to divide it into financing lease, operating lease. Financing lease means some conditions are there to be satisfied. All others are operating leases. Financing lease, you account it as a receivable of asset. Operating lease, you account it just like any other income received. Those things are straightforward. We'll quickly recap our memory there. So at inception, you have to classify either financing lease or operating lease. And when it is financing lease, they say substantial risk and rewards should be transferred to the lessee for using the asset. Risk means it is possibility of losses, technological obsolescence, variation in returns. That is, if the company makes loss by not utilizing the asset, it is loss for them. That is, what an owner would have got the risk, what owner would have suffered, lessee is also suffering it. That is, it is not sale, but almost like a sale. Reward, that is profitable operations, appreciation in value of asset and all. For example, if you think, they give you various categories. One of them is ownership is transferred at the end of lease term, not at the beginning. So at the beginning, lessor is the owner, lessee is not the owner. But at the end of lease term, lessee becomes the owner. That means he will take care of the asset as if his asset only, because ultimately it is going to become his asset. So ownership is getting transferred at a later date. He will not be like, this is not my asset, I will not be taking care of it, I'll use however I want. It will not happen because it is his asset. He has a commitment to buy the asset at a later date. He has to take care of it well. or the risk and rewards associated with the owner will accrue to the lessee, because ultimately he is the future owner. So that is what is financial lease. What an owner would have got the benefits, lessee is getting it. So it's not a actual sale, but to be accounted like a deemed sale, as if it is a sale. So we are going for substance over form in this case. Some examples they are given. Hope you remember these things from your IPC level. That is, when ownership transfer at the year end, that is a case of financing lease. There is an option to purchase, and that option is such a way that the amount is less than fair value. When the amount is less than fair value, most likely he will purchase. On a normal logical person, he will purchase. And lease term is major part of economic life. If lease term is 10 years, life of the asset is 10.5 years. That is what the owner would have got the benefit, lessee is only getting it, even though he is not becoming the owner. So we deem it to be a sale, deem it to be financing lease. And the present value of lease payments is such a way that it is equal to fair value of the asset. Sometimes you would come across this statement, especially your relatives. Now you will not even meet your relatives, so you don't hear this sentence. Once you pass exams, you start earning, then they will tell these kind of suggestions. That's are there for. But this suggestion, something is relatable to our discussion, so we use them. That is, they say, why do you pay so much of rent, which is waste of money? You don't become owner. Instead, you buy the asset. You pay the EMIs. You pay rental amounts or you pay the installment. Ultimately, you have to make the payment. But in case of rentals, you don't become owner of the asset. But in case of the EMI installments, you become the owner of the assets. Again, that is suggestion, whether you take it or not is left to you. But there's one important concept I would like to bring in is this. The lease payments are such a way that if I take the present value of it, if I take a loan amount of it, that will come to value of the asset itself. The present value of liability is such a way that it is equivalent to the value of the asset. So indirectly, I am purchasing the assets. I am not really purchasing, but the amount of payment justifies the value of the asset. You take it as financing lease. And asset is of special nature, only lessee can use. Customized one, others cannot use. Then it is also a financing lease. All other points it becomes operating lease. And one small point, land and building to be separated. I mean for accounting purpose, because usually land, you can't say that option to purchase or major part of economic life and all I can't apply. You can't say that land is having life of only few years. We are still humans. We can't determine the useful life of the land and all. So while determining the land and building, you have to separate land portion and building portion. Most probably land is economic lease, the operating lease, most probably. Not always, but most probably. Therefore, you have to separate the land portion and building portion. If you are not able to classify, then you can take it as financing lease. But to the extent possible, you need to do it. And you need to reclassify financing lease or operating lease wherever the modification required. And treat that modification as a separate lease. No question of remeasurement of liability and all. You treat the measurement as separate lease, and from that point onwards, you account it prospectively. Okay, so let us do one simple problem for that lease category part, then we go for accounting. Classify the following into either operating or financing lease. 31 we did, right? Okay, yeah, 32. Only some more problems are there. We can aim for today itself to finish some problems. Classify the following either into operating or finance lease. Ownership of an asset gets vested to lessee at the end of lease term. Finance lease. Ultimately, lessee becomes the owner. Lessee has the option to purchase the asset at a lower value than fair value at the end of lease term. Most likely, he will become the owner. Financing lease. Economic life is 5 years, lease term is 4.5 years, but asset is not acquired at the end of lease term. The economic life and lease term is almost equal. Financing lease. present value of MLP is the lease payment, minimum lease payments, is X, fair value of asset is Y. Operating lease. Operating lease. Okay, we'll tell financing lease. You give the break earlier. That's how your expression looks like. Just because of the letters X and Y comes one after the another does not mean the value is close. There is lot of gap between X and Y, and for some people X would have changed somebody's life. So when you say the value of X and Y is given, you can't comment whether they are equal or not. So you have to give a conditional answer. If X is approximately same as Y, financing lease, otherwise you say operating lease. Otherwise you can't comment whether they are same or not. They are variables. So conditional answer is there. Multiple choice question all you can't answer. If X is approximately same as Y, then present value, fair value is equal, almost equal, you say finance, otherwise operating. Next, economic life is 5 years, lease is 2 years, asset is of special nature and procured only for use of lease is special nature. Again, you treat it as financing lease. Okay, we'll quickly go through the accounting. This is not new to you, so we will just have an overview of it, then we can do problems for understanding. So if it is a financing lease, what the asset, what the lessor should do is, he had a existing amount first. That should be de-recognized because it's almost sale, deemed sale. Existing carrying amount should be taken out, and but he has yet to receive the amount. Lease payments are yet to be received. So you have to recognize them on present value basis. They are called as nil. It is net investment in lease, basically present value of lease payments. So present value of Jill, gross investment in lease, not Jack and Jill went to exam and went out of the exam. That NIL, net investment in lease, GIL, gross investment in lease. Gross investment in lease means without applying any present value factors, which includes all the lease payments by lessor and unguaranteed residual value, because if it is guaranteed residual value, it is part of the lease payment itself, and additionally unguaranteed, so that present value will recognize it as net investment in lease, and difference amount is taken to P&L account. Initial direct cost is not added separately but considered as impact on implicit rate. If you remember financial instruments, that's all. I mean, like, checkmate kind of thing. Financial instruments, when we had liabilities and issue expenses were there, flotation charges, issue expenses were not accounted as separately, but the rate of interest is recomputed such a way that ultimately the final amount comes to the face value amount. That is, interest rate is recomputed. That's all is required. But for manufacturer or dealer, accounting is slightly different because for him it is a regular course of business to sell the goods like installment schemes. So he will recognize sale as per Ind AS 115, like regular sales, profit he will recognize in P&L account. And cost of the assets, he will recognize at present value but reduce by UGRV, unguaranteed amount. When you do a problem, you understand. And this initial direct cost, he will transfer it to P&L account because for him it's a regular course of business. No question of recognizing any adjustment in implicit rate. He will take it to P&L accounts. Subsequently, he will recognize financial income or the net investment in lease, variable lease payments. As and when it comes, you recognize in P&L account, not adjusted in the asset amount because it's variable nature. You would not know at the beginning. Impairment of the asset, you apply as per Ind AS 109, which is Ind AS 109. If you remember, we told this will cover two types of impairments, type 1 and type 2. One type 1 impairment is lifetime credit losses. Other type of impairment was only 12 months credit losses. In two situations, we accounted for lifetime credit loss. One was lease receivable, other was trade receivables. In all other situations, we accounted only for 12 months receivables. That was impairment. We have to apply it. It looks like you are only getting impaired. Anyway, impairment you have to apply. And remeasurement modification comes, lease term changes, it will be remeasurement. And you are going, if it is a lease term change, it's not accounted as separate lease, otherwise it is accounted as separate lease, and difference amount will be taken in P&L account. Okay, one small point discussion, then we can go for the break and problems. Initial direct cost, just want to summarize this part. If it is for finance lease, then if it is for manufacturer dealer to be transferred to P&L. I just now actually told that, because for him it is a regular course of business that is transferred to P&L account. For others, it will be not added to NIL, but it will be implicit in the NIL. You have to recompute the rate of interest. I just now told, I'm repeating, that's all. But for operating lease, it is added to the carrying amount and amortized over lease term. So as and when you recognize the operating income, you will also recognize this amount which is being amortized. So income is amortized, expense also amortized, no question of any special treatment. But the only thing, the cost will not be transferred to P&L account in 1 year, it is amortized over a period of operating lease term. So that's the treatment of initial direct costs from the point of view of lessor. Lessee, it would have been adjusted in the lease liability only, we would have already discussed that in the books of lessee how it will happen. Okay, so we have to do problem on this and few more small aspects we will take up after the break. So 7:30, take a break of 10 minutes, 7:40.